July 2025. A month that will be forever etched into the memories of millions across China. What started as seasonal rainfall has spiraled into an unprecedented natural catastrophe. Towns lost beneath rising waters, cities torn apart by floods and storms, families clinging to rooftops, waiting to be saved. This is not a movie. This is not a simulation. This is real, and it's still unfolding.
What began as a seasonal storm has now turned into a full-blown national disaster. Across the region, rivers have burst their banks, multiple dams have collapsed or overflowed, and floodwaters have swept through densely populated areas, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Entire residential neighborhoods are now underwater, with only rooftops and the upper floors visible. Countless vehicles have been swallowed by the muddy currents, and in many areas, the first and even second floors of buildings are completely submerged.
It began quietly, with skies darkening over southeastern China. The rain fell steadily at first, feeding the rivers, soaking the earth, whispering of the monsoon's return. But the skies didn't clear. Instead, the clouds thickened, and the wind began to howl. Then came Typhoon Danas, a beast of wind and water, lashing coastal provinces like Fujian and Zhejiang with gusts that tore through cities and lightning that split the sky open. Streets became torrents. Trees snapped like matchsticks. Cars flipped, and iconic roads like Xiamen's Zhongshan Avenue fell silent under the storm's fury.
Several metro stations were flooded, and power outages plunged entire blocks into darkness. Sichuan province faced a different but equally devastating threat. Continuous downpours triggered landslides, blocking roads and cutting off communication with rural
The flooding of the Minjiang and Tuajiang rivers has inundated several townships, with emergency sirens blaring across districts as dams were forced to release excess water to prevent complete failure.
渔场路没得了，这条你说这条路看嘛，完全没得了。哇塞！咋得帅，咋得帅！
日报照得惨，你看嘛，到处都安的路，深得很。
But even as Danas roared offshore, something far more terrifying was building inland. In the heart of China, weeks of relentless downpours had swelled rivers beyond their limits. The mighty Yangtze, the Minjiang, the Zhejiang, their banks no longer held. On July 9th, catastrophe struck. Dams began to fail. first in Yunnan, then in Sichuan and Hubei, giant concrete barriers meant to protect millions gave way under overwhelming pressure. Torrents of water exploded downstream, washing away entire villages, severing roads, toppling bridges, and dragging away homes like paper in a tide. In Yichang, rescue teams navigated flooded neighborhoods in rubber boats, pulling families from shattered windows. Children passed from hand to hand above the current, mothers clutching soaked photo albums, the last fragments of the homes they once knew. In Chongqing, cars floated like leaves in a muddy sea. Subways filled with water. Cell towers collapsed. Darkness fell across neighborhoods where the lights had gone out and weren't coming back. And in remote towns cut off by landslides, entire communities waited, unheard, for help that could not come.
Officials have issued the highest level flood alert, warning that more rain is expected in the coming days. Dams that have not yet failed are under extreme pressure, and many fear that if the rain continues, larger reservoirs upstream may collapse, compounding the already desperate situation. Due to limited information, the actual situation on the ground may be far more serious than currently reported.
As floodwaters rose inland, the coast was still reeling from Typhoon Danas. In Xiamen, tourists were trapped at ferry terminals as gale-force winds battered the shores. Emergency sirens screamed across the bay. Schools shut down. Ports were sealed. Thousands of lives were put on hold or in danger as the storm's massive outer bands refused to let go. Even though Danas never fully made landfall, the scale of its destruction was terrifying. Entire regions suffered as if a giant hand had swept across the land, flooding, destroying, and paralyzing.
Destructive combination of violent wind gusts, lightning storms, and torrential rainfall. Cities like Xiamen and Fujian province bore the full brunt of the assault, while Zhejiang province initiated sweeping shutdowns of transportation systems and port operations to minimize casualties and structural damage.
我靠，车都要被吹走掉了！我靠！快点躲车哦，把车倒退一下，躲在大巴车最后面哦。
那个美女进来，哎，在窗户进来，打那个玻璃。
In Xiamen, the situation escalated from calm to crisis in a matter of hours. Urban
Amidst the chaos, heroes rose. Firefighters cut through fallen trees to clear roads. Military units airlifted supplies into isolated areas. Helicopters hovered over rooftops to pluck stranded families from the edge of death. School gyms, temples, and even underground parking lots became makeshift shelters, filled with frightened, wet, and weary souls clinging to one another for warmth and hope.
Level 11.
我操，下冰雹了！下冰雹！我操，太恐怖了！
Heavy rainfall pounded the city, overwhelming stormwater drains. Giant trees lining the roads were violently snapped or uprooted, their trunks crashing down onto roads, cars, and sidewalks.
哦，我的天啊！哦呀，
Authorities raised the flood alert to its highest level. Dams that still stood were now trembling under pressure, and forecasts warned of more rain, more storms on the horizon. The fear? That this is not the end, but only the beginning. And for many, especially in remote villages without cell service or aid, their suffering may not yet be known to the world.
Was nearly deserted except for a few soaked individuals attempting to shield themselves with collapsing umbrellas. Powerful gusts blew signs off storefronts and flung debris through the air.
This disaster is more than just numbers. It's more than collapsed bridges and shattered dams. It's millions of lives disrupted, children who lost their homes, elders separated from loved ones, entire communities grieving not just what was lost, but what may never return. But in the face of water's fury, the human spirit endures. In every rescue, every hand extended, every story shared, there is hope. There is unity. Let the world not look away. Let the world remember. And may we stand together for recovery, for rebuilding, and for resilience. Over 25 million affected. Thousands rescued, many still unreachable. More rain expected. Subscribe for updates. Share to spread awareness. Support disaster relief efforts in China. Every voice counts. Every action matters.